Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 13. And of Joseph he said, blessed of Yahweh will be his land. For the precious things of heaven, for the dew, and for the deep that coucheth beneath, and for the precious fruits brought forth by the sun, and for the precious things put forth by the moon, and for the chief things of the ancient mountains, and for the precious things of the lasting hills, and for the precious things of the earth and fullness thereof, and for the good will of him that dwelt in the bush, let the blessing come upon the head of Joseph, and upon the top of the head of him that was separated from his brethren. His glory is like the firstling of his bullock, and his horns are like the horns of unicorns. With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth. And they are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah YAHAWASHI, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah YAHAWASHI, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah YAHAWASHI, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honor to our apostles and elders, great millstone. Peace and blessing to the elect of Israel. This is going to be a recap on Agueybana, a Taino Indian chief, which really he's an Ephraimite. But this is a recap because Agueybana, he is more proof that you so-called Puerto Ricans are Hebrew Israelites. Okay, because first of all, what does Ephraim mean? Okay, because like I just said, you so-called Puerto Ricans, you are Hebrew Israelites from the tribe of Ephraim. From the tribe of Ephraim. Ephraim in the Hebrew is a paryum. Ephraim in the Hebrew is a paryum, which means I am fruitful. A paryum means I am fruitful, meaning you have a lot of children. You have a lot of sons. Okay? You have a lot of sons and daughters, but in particular, a lot of sons, because children in the Hebrew is bunyam, and it means sons. So you're fruitful. You're a very fertile tribe. You have a lot of sons, and dealing with the Taino Indian chief, Agueybana, I broke down his name in the Hebrew. It's Agueybana. Agueybana, which means I nation build. I nation build. Basically, I am fruitful. Because how do you build a nation? You have a lot of children. You have a lot of sons. That's how you build your nation. Basically, you have a lot of sex to have a lot of sons. Sons and daughters, but in particular, a lot of sons. Because children in the Hebrew is bunyam, which means sons. So, going back to Agueybana, his name is more proof that you so-called Puerto Ricans, you so-called Tainos of the island of Borican, you are Hebrew Israelites from the tribe of Ephraim. Now, going back to the prophecies that break down who you are, in Deuteronomy chapter 33, starting at verse 13, it said, and of Joseph he said, blessed of Yahweh be his land. All right, so the father of Ephraim and Manasseh is Joseph, one of the sons of Jacob. Okay, and we know that Ephraim got the greater blessing to be fruitful. So when you see Joseph in the scriptures, a lot of times Joseph is interchangeable with Ephraim because Ephraim got the greater blessing. It said, blessed of Yahweh be his land. All right, now the way you say blessed of Yahweh in Hebrew is Barakyah. Barakyah, which reminds you of Puerto Rico. Borican. All right. You call yourself Boricua. That's similar to Barakyah. So it's a lot of, parallels and similarities in the scriptures, proving this is you. Okay. And it says how you would have a fruitful land, the island of Puerto Rico. You can go into the depths of it, by the different precious fruits, exotic animals. Okay. You have the rainforest, El Junque, which means the anvil. All right. It's a lot of great things there. Okay. A lot of nocturnal animals. Okay. You have the bioluminescent bay, Okay. The water that glows at night. You have those exotic frogs that whistle at night. That's what this is all going into. Okay. Now we jump down to verse 16. It says, and for the precious things of the earth and fullness thereof, and for the good will of him that dwelt in the bush. Now, who dwelt in the bush? YAHAWASHI. You know, it says how an angel of the Lord was in the burning bush, but that angel of the Lord was YAHAWASHI. And YAHAWASHI himself, he's the one that brought us out the land of Egypt. You know, he was in that chariot. Okay. So you are the people of the Lord. All right. YAHAWASHI, he's coming back to deliver 12,000 out of each tribe. When you look at the 12 tribe sign, he's coming back to deliver 12,000 out of each tribe, along with the innumerable multitude. Okay. And the 1/3. Okay. But going back to this, it said, let the blessing come upon the head of Joseph and upon the top of the head of him that was separated from his brethren. And in the spirit, you know how Joseph was separated from his brothers. That represents how the northern kingdom, the so-called Latinos, Native Americans, how they were separated. The northern kingdom was separated from the kingdom of Judah. Okay. Our nation was split going back during the time of after King Solomon died. When his son Rehoboam ruled, the nation was split. Okay. And Jeroboam, he ruled over the northern tribes. Okay. And they started going off into idolatry, and they got carried away captive to Assyria. And after that, they came to the Americas, where they kept the laws, statutes, and commandments, you know, the best they could. But after a while, they started going off again, you know, into sun worship, into worship of different earth gods and goddesses. Okay. They started sacrificing their children, you know, sacrificing people to the sun. Okay. You know, that's what Jake was doing over here in the Americas. But the point is, you know, Joseph being sold into slavery and separated from his brothers in the spirit, that showed how you northern tribes were separated from the southern tribes of Israel. Okay. And verse 17, his glory is like the firstling of his bullock, and his horns are like the horns of unicorns. Now, horns in the scriptures represent power. Okay. You know, so Ephraim, they have a very rulership mentality. Okay. Because when you see Ephraim, when you see so-called Puerto Ricans, the tribe of Ephraim, in the spirit, they remind you of Judah. That shows how Ephraim, they're the head of the northern kingdom. You know, they have that God complex about themselves, man. You know, they're natural born leaders. You know, so Ephraim, they're the head of the northern kingdom. All right. And it says, with them, with his horns that are like unicorns, with them, he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth. Now, this is twofold. That goes to how the tribes of Israel are being gathered by the internet. We're being gathered by the internet. So it goes into that, you know, the unicorn horn, the feed horn. Okay. The satellites were being gathered by the internet, but also Ephraim with his, you know, his principal blessing that the Lord gave him, his leader mentality, I'm going to say, you know, basically he led the other tribes over here to the Americas, you know, with his mentality. Okay. Because the Lord was dealing with Ephraim, you know, to an extent, even though they were going off, but the Lord was still dealing with them to have them lead the other tribes over here to the Americas, to the ends of the earth. Okay. And they are the 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh, right? Because Ephraim and Manasseh are sons of Joseph, you know, but in particular, Ephraim will be more fruitful. Okay. And they're the head of the northern kingdom, and Manasseh, that's you so-called Cubans today. But going back to the point, Agueybana, just by his name, that proves that you so-called Tainos of Puerto Rico, Borican, that proves you're Hebrew Israelites because you're fruitful. Okay. And not to mention, you have the ancient stones of Guayania that were found. And those stones go back to Agueybana or Agueybana, because he kept those stones and they were passed it down to him. All right. So he had those stones, you know, Agueybana the first, then he gave them to his brother, Agueybana the second, but he kept that going. He kept passing them down, you know, well, they passed it down, you know, and when you read about this, the ancient stones of Guayania, it tells you about these Paleo Hebrew stones that were discovered in Puerto Rico that were passed down from Agueybana. Okay. Now I'm going to read this again because, like I said, this is a recap and I'm just going to get to the point. You know, reading the third paragraph, it says the year was 1880 when an old woman of indigenous origin alerted the father, Jose Maria Nazario and Cancel, then pastor of Guayania and fond of history and archaeology, about where the petroglyphs, data that had been transmitted from generation to generation, were in the family of the elderly because they kept passing it down. Father Nazario, who had experience in the study of ancient sciences because of his clerical training at the University of Salamanca, concluded that the rocks containing the script known as Hebrew Chaldaica, you know, so Hebrew and Chaldean or Chaldean, okay, and were related to the 10 lost tribes of Israel, because you so-called Puerto Ricans are the tribe of Ephraim, one of the tribes of Israel. Okay, and the 10 tribes, those are the tribes that came over here first after the Assyrian captivity. And it says some ramifications of these tribes believed the father Nazario would come to Puerto Rico and had contact with the natives of the island. You know, which basically the natives of the island were the tribes of Israel. Okay. Where they were the tribe of Ephraim. But you had the other tribes that were over here as well. Okay. In South America, in Central America, in Mexico, North America, Canada, you know, and the other islands. And it says it was an interpretation with which not many people agreed because it's the truth. For he spoke of contact between the old and new world before the arrival of Christopher Columbus. Except such an interpretation would alter all existing notions about the discovery of America. Plus, it would give based on a biblical approach to the spaces to which the tribes of Israel were scattered, says Rodriguez, archaeologist. So that's the point right there, man. That's the point, because the tribes of Israel came over here to the Americas. Okay? That's the point, man. You know, so I'm going to end this video showing you the ancient stones of Guayania. Okay? And they speak for themselves, man. But you so-called Puerto Ricans, you are indeed the tribe of Ephraim. You're the tribe of Ephraim, one of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And you need to come back to your nationality. Come back to who you are. Because being a Hebrew Israelite is not a religion. This is who you are according to the Bible. Okay? And the Messiah, YAHAWASHI, he's coming back to deliver his elect. So you are Hebrew Israelites. So I'm going to play this clip and it's going to speak for itself. It's time to come back, man. It's time to return. We about to go home, man. When the Lord returns. Shalom.
Wamikara Yahweh, Warigo Wakia Tainoti, Bon Atu Ikawakia, para Dufia, Ahika Savi, Urakanwa, Dukiuhan, Diosana Boridaka.